You know how sometimes you come across a piece of art, a song, a painting, a poem, and it just feels like a riddle? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. It's a short but really deep poem called The Saturn Within, and it seems to be holding a secret about love, about who we pretend to be, and about how we actually live our lives.
Right off the bat, the poem hits you with this incredibly strange line. It says, "The sick people manage to hide the Saturn in them." What on earth could that mean? The Saturn? In them? It's just one of those phrases that really makes you stop and think, right?
So that's our central puzzle for today. What is this Saturn that we're apparently hiding inside of us? Figuring this out is the key to unlocking the poem's entire message about how we can live a more genuine, more fulfilling life.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we've got to start where the poem itself starts, with a really basic, fundamental human need, the need for connection.
The poet says that deep down, there's a part of every single one of us, he calls it the kid in you, that just craves authentic love. And here's the kicker. Substitutes won't work. Not even a little bit. This really sets the stage for everything else, because it begs the question, what happens when that kid doesn't get what it so desperately needs? All right, now we get into the really interesting stuff. This is where we start to break down the poem's very unusual, very specific language to figure out what's really going on. And here we go again. Get a load of this phrase, deceptional satanic structure. I mean, wow, it's this complex, almost dark-sounding language. This is our next clue in solving this mystery. And this is what it's all about. That satanic structure is the fake self we build. It's that whole elaborate performance we put on for the world, all the behaviors and beliefs we adopt just to get the approval we're looking for, especially when we feel like real love is missing. And the poem describes just how much work this takes. It's not passive. People are out there hatching schemes, constantly seeking acknowledgments to keep the show going. They use all their resources, what the poem calls their revenue, just to act out this belief system. They literally turn the whole world into a stage, their own favorite venue for this performance. So all this effort to maintain a fake self, it leads us to a massive fork in the road. The poem argues that we're all faced with a choice between two totally different ways of living. I love how this slide lays it all out. On one side, you have effortless living. Now, don't let the name fool you. This isn't easy in a good way. It's living on autopilot, just running on old habits and conditioning, what the poem calls using the past cult. And on the other side, effortful living. That's the conscious work, the dedication it takes to be your real self, which is what lets you truly thrive and enjoy the fruits of your efforts. And the poem gives a super blunt warning here. It says if you don't actively choose to reject this fake, effortless path, the result is inevitable. And that result is one simple word: sulk. It leads straight to resentment and a deep, nagging dissatisfaction with your life.
Okay, so at this point, you might be wondering, what is with all these weird phrases? The Saturn, satanic structures, the kid in you. It all sounds so random, but it's not. It turns out there's a key, a framework that makes it all make sense.
And here it is. The poet's name is Judzorin, and he isn't just a poet. He's also a practitioner of something called transactional analysis. And that little piece of information, well, it's the Rosetta Stone for this entire poem. And this explains why that's so important. Transactional analysis, or TA for short, is a way of understanding psychology and our social interactions. For the poet, it's a tool to stress the power of love. And all of a sudden, everything clicks. The kid in you, the need for real, effortful connection, and even that mysterious Saturn within, which represents that heavy, hidden burden of our fake selves, it all makes perfect sense inside this framework. So, with the code completely broken, we can finally get to the poem's really powerful, optimistic message. See, it's not just about diagnosing a problem. It's a prescription for living a much, much better life. The poem reminds us of what's at stake. When we're busy hiding the Saturn, our lives just aren't being lived the way they're supposed to be, cheerfully and grandly. We're missing out on the real joy of just being alive. This is so important to get. The poem is a direct recommendation. It's a call to action. It's telling us to do away with sulking, to ditch that easy, inauthentic path, and actively, consciously choose to build something better, something real. And this right here, this is the ultimate goal it lays out for us.
Our days aren't meant to be filled with regret or untold guilt. They are meant to be constructed, to be built at a masterpiece level. It reframes your life as this incredible act of creation.
And that leaves us with this final, powerful question. It takes the entire message of this poem and turns it right back to us, asking us to really think about our own lives. After decoding the mystery, the real question is for you. Are you just living effortlessly on autopilot, or are you consciously, actively building your masterpiece?